I've got to take a few minutes to tell, first of all, the school board for your support of this endeavor. A few of us wrote a few letters and called you and so forth, and I think you all unanimously approved it. That's wonderful. I just came back from a little trip up north and went to the Flight 93 Museum, the memorial, excuse me. And the one word that was used up there more than any other word was hero. And I said, perfect. Mr. Mitchell was my hero. Still is my hero. He coached me in 3 sports. Now, I wasn't the star, but I still got on the bench. And he let me play. And I tell people back in Roanoke, I said, well, our school was so small, if I didn't play, the girls would have been playing on the boys' team. So they let me play. But my senior year, right before my senior year, I didn't play football. Coach came to my house, knocked on the door, said, I want to talk to you, Ray. He said, I think you could be a good split end for me. And I said, Dad's not going to let me play football. He said he wants me to play baseball. He didn't care about basketball. But anyway, I did, and it was one of the greatest experiences of my life. I had asthma, still do a little bit. And Coach Mitchell said, Ray, I don't know anything about asthma. I don't know anything about that. He said, I can't tell you when to stop. You've got to tell yourself. So if you're going to stop, you're going to have to stop yourself. I never stopped. Thank you, Coach. Thank you for that so much. I had a speech, but I know there's a lot of other people want to talk. But I just want to thank everybody for coming and supporting this endeavor. I'm looking forward to seeing that on that fence, the Billy Mitchell baseball field. Yeah. Thank you, Ray, for all you've done.
I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Mitchell now and let him share some of his experiences. And then we will get it back for a second. Then after everything's said and done, there's some refreshments out in the lobby. And we will go into the room. Not bad, Delma. Well, we're taking DNA tests. Okay. But anyway, we will turn it over to Mr. Mitchell. And there again, thank everybody for coming and sharing. And letting us.
Every time I don't see him turned over to him, he has a guitar.
Well, he can play it. He's got 2 of them in his living room, sitting there side by side.
Okay.
And
by the way, I want to say one more thing.
Okay.
Donnie forgot. Mr. Mitchell appointed Donnie and I as the JV basketball coaches when the coach quit, and we are the only undefeated basketball coaches in the state of Virginia. I'm sure, ain't that right, Donnie? I mean, we won 10 games.
No, we were 3-0.
Oh. He can't tell a lie. What's wrong with him?
We were 3-0, and then they brought in a coach.
did Mr. Mitchell take credit for that? We'll have to take that off his record.
No,
He
no,
gave us
sir.
credit for it.
JV
We'll make
coach,
something after y'all one of these
the
days.
JV coach left
Okay.
In the middle of the night.
abruptly, and we were the managers our senior year for the varsity. He put us in charge of the JV team. He never set foot on the floor. We seriously coached them for the first 3 games, and we were unbeaten. Thank you very much.
I swear it was 10 games, though.
Mr. Mitchell, if you would introduce your family, I'm sorry I was remiss in doing that. We was listening to stories and this, that, and the other. I grew up with a little bit of Rascals and Marty and so, but anyway, it's all yours.
All right.
do feel at home here. Because, as you all know, teachers, particularly in the state of Virginia, get enormous salaries. But buying books and, shoes, and coats and hats and things like that, it takes away some. But we were only getting paid in 10 months. 2 months of the year, no jack, nothing. So all of us that I knew took another job. I got some real good ones because I learned an awful lot. If you pack lumber all day in 95-degree weather with no help, you learn a whole lot by lunch, I'm gonna tell you that. And, for $2 too, man, a day, how about that? I was in cutting. But the thing of it is, the reason I said that is because I really feel like, and I've always felt this way, anything you do, if you do it the best you can do, that's about all you can do. And no matter if nobody else likes it, you can pretend like you pretend to like it. I mean it. Yeah, I pretended that I was a professional pitcher every time I went to the mound. I tried to look like it, you know what I mean? That's why there's two reasons they don't shave now. One is they have to play out in the heat and sweat a lot, and shaving is kind of tough. That's harder than hitting a baseball. So what they do is they wear it. But the main reason the pitchers do is because it makes them look manly and tough. And that's a fact. Eye contact is dangerous if you're a hitter and picking it up with a pitcher, particularly if he's throwing 100 miles an hour, which they do today. You realize that's only 0.2 of a second you got to swing or get out of the way of? And I hit against a guy like that one time. I'm not gonna be, by the way, there are some people in here that mean more to me than anything. People are artists and the most precious and the most strangest and the best, most exciting thing that you can get to know. And you all know that. And once you get 90 and you really learn a lot of doctors' offices. It is amazing what they know. Some of it you wish they didn't, but it's amazing. And they've got a system with everything. When you go to 9 of them, all of them have the same system. Some of them from California, some of them from China. So they're all over. And they are super. And that's the way professional baseball players could be. Most of them aren't. I knew guys that wanted to quit. They were only making $7 million. You know what I'm saying? Happy to live on $7 million. But they were hitting the ball and better stay with it. Well, my favorite ball player is Nick, Billy, tell me his last name. Fellow from Virginia. I forget him. No.
For the University of Virginia?
Yeah. He hit 3 home runs in a row.
And Chris Taylor.
Yeah, oh yeah, I know Taylor, Chris Taylor. He was the Dodgers in the World Series, and they got beat. But the home run hitters, they got beat too. But old Nick, he slipped up there and he smacked 3 in the one game. They lost it, but he had 3 home runs. And you watch him play. He dresses the way I did. He wears his hat the way I did. He runs like I did. He's not ugly. A lot faster. And the journalists, it's so crazy. They come to you and they say, how did you always, so-and-so didn't hit the ball. So-and-so didn't hit the ball. How do you do that? How do you hit the guy like that? And it really tickled me. He even speaks like I do. He said, you know what, if you're feeling good, you just hit the ball. I said, well, the journalist said, well, look, he's tried to go fast, make it smarter and smart, But anyway, let me go back a minute. If I could speak the way some of these folks could, or if I could write like this lady right here, if I could write like this lady, you know, I try to write stuff, and, like all of you do, and, I forget it, but yeah. Gracie Hart Brooks, she's not here tonight, is she? Gracie? I didn't think so, and that's fine, because she wrote a very, very good write-up in the paper. And I don't know how they do that. She had to go get more information from more people than I thought of, and, it was amazing. And I wanted to thank her personally. But frankly, since it's been here a while, I haven't been able to do that, but I want somebody to thank her for me for that. I don't know if you're supposed to thank people that write a nice letter about you in the paper. I've had some written the other way. I don't know whether you're right or not. I don't know whether that's the deal, you know. But if I were there, I would appreciate it. And so I hope she's appreciated. Because it shocked me when I got it, to be honest with you. And if they don't write about you at all, you know, that they can write bad stuff and good stuff. But if they don't write about it at all, that's the only thing that really bothers the baseball players. You got it. But I believe that I see a lot of faces that I remember. I've got about 90% of them in scrapbooks at home because I was in there with them. And when I first started teaching math, I taught math. I opened the door to go in because I knew that I'd rather be standing in the door looking at them when they came in. I always figured if I was standing close to them, you know, they couldn't shoot me or something. So anyway, hit me, you know, or say, hey, who are you? But the point I'm making, I'm not getting into that because that's so bad. But what I'm trying to say is that close range, standing close, and a pair of eyes is about all you got when you go in there. And a lot of parents, that I've always, you know, heard a lot of stories about that. But parents have a really tough job. And a wonderful, wonderful job. They've got the most exciting people with them that you can ever find anywhere. When they're born and when they're all the way up. You know, it's just amazing how they live. And they grow up so fast. But let me tell you something. I had to find something, I like to read, you know, like everybody else, but I can't read a novel anymore. But what I like to do, because it's too long, takes too long, I'm like everybody else. We want to go too fast. Short sentences. You know, what happened to the last page and the first page? Oh, I did a lot of that in college, but anyway. And in high school, but anyway, I don't know how to thank anybody for the night, because I never even, honestly, I never just think about it but one time. I thought maybe that the times that I had been used by the people that were my bosses, you know, and somebody else got credit, something, you know, and I thought, well, it never really bothered me. I had enough problems of my own. But I realized that what I had to do was I had to not let anything outside of me causing me to be the way I was getting. And it was only 6 to 8 years of baseball and only, 47 or so in schools. I coached 2 years down at Waverly L, not when it was Waverly L, Billy McCann was in there. I knew him really well. But anyway, I guess I really want to say thank you, but I don't know, because I could thank a lot of you folks. I could look out there and thank some people. The team wouldn't even got to the place to play if it hadn't been for Boo McDaniel. Red, 10 in the morning. I started keeping mileage in a little book for all the trips I took. And don't you know, the thing I looked for, that I wanted to see, was that sign up there that said, home of the Madison Mountaineers. And be darned if it didn't tear that up and take it down. And every night when I went on a bus trip, I waited till we got, when I saw that, I knew it was home. And it put it up like, what they put it up for. And it looked like the other side of Washington or somewhere, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I was in the service. I was in there. 10 people went from press. Come on, press. At one time, we were the most famous little town in the whole United States. It was in the paper. If we'd have had 5 more people, we'd have been considered a ghost town. I like that one. Have you heard that before? That came out of Noah's Ark on crutches. Now, come on. But the thing I'm saying is that the last time I had a thing like this, 2 men showed up. And I knew them. They had a little thing for me, and they had 2 men. And they had to cancel it. One of them got sick, and the other one had to go to work. Okay, time to close it out, isn't it? I was going to use the BBB system. Be honest, that's the hard part. Be brief, be seated. I could explain you exactly what Ray Dove did in the end zone to knock it down with those long arms of his. And he had never played that position before, but I looked around, and he's the tallest with the longest arms on the bench, and they were on the 5-yard line. If they had scored a touchdown, they'd have beaten us, and they'd been throwing the ball all the way down the field. And I said, just knock it down, Ray. And if Eternity didn't throw it to the guy over the middle, he knocked it down.
Blind squirrel.
It is. It is. And it didn't bother me too much, but we had to fight people off him going to the bus. All the guys, you ever seen it?
All girls.
Was that a girl? So Pratt was so, when I was in the service, I want to cover this, please, because people have got it entirely wrong. I went in with 10 other boys here. And because I had 1 year of college work, really had it, man, they put me in charge. And I had to help all of them. Now, several of them couldn't write, and I wanted to give them I told them, can I give them tell them going home, not go? No, man, they going no matter if they can't walk. And I said, okay, I'll do that. So I did. They made me do that. And when we went to basic, I went to Fort Jackson in South Carolina, and we went through 16 weeks of basic, 16 more advanced, and then 4 weeks because they weren't ready to ship us out with Ranger training, Ranger Academy. Now these guys are nuts, as y'all know, and I got to know quite a bit of them. Everybody had to climb a great big tree and put straps on it and a parachute and jump off. And let me tell you something, brother. I might be talking to some of you guys. I never bloused my boots when I went downtown because I wasn't a paratrooper, no way. Because they didn't care for that. And what happened was that the old Sergeant Driggers, bless his heart, he was teaching us. He said, Mitch, don't look down, just step off. Is anybody going to help me when I get down there? So, I did. And there was nothing to it, really. Scared the fool out of me. So I went back that night and took my name off the list. But I asked him, I said, you training these people to jump? How many jumps you make? He said, none. What? He said, I was pushed every time. I want y'all to know that. When we lined up to go overseas, they started calling by alphabet who was going to Japan, which meant Korea, or, or Japan, the Philippines or something, or New York would be Germany. 6 names before mine, they changed to New York. I missed 6 Jane, I'm going to Korea. I didn't want to go to Korea, but I didn't care, you know. I don't know what happens to you. What do those people do to us, huh? But it was crazy. And so what I'm trying to say, Fulda Pass in Germany was the place where the Russians wanted to come through and take over the whole of Europe. So our commander-in-chief in Washington, he sent half of our crew over K Company over to Fulda Pass. And they had a brand new German barracks over there, and that the Germans never got to use because the war was over, and we couldn't use it. So we dug a hole in the ground, and two of us slept in a hole in the ground for almost a month, and it was like 20 below, and it was something else. I still wear socks to bed. But anyway, I want that to be known because that's not fair. I went where they told me, and I did what they told me, and I came home when they told me. And I'm not going to go into the changeup because that's the best pitch in baseball. And people have called me various names and so forth and so on, but you know what? I was always glad to see the parents at the game. Because like old Yo Guevara said, baseball like that, he said literally keeps the parents off the street and the kids out of home. Can I thank you all and listen, have a good Christmas. I still say Merry Christmas, and I want to tell you that it's beyond my comprehension right now to understand that I was just trying to do what they didn't pay me for, you know. I'm sorry.
Get him some new material.
I went to the book that I look for reference at all times. It's the best book ever written. It's been published more than anywhere else in the world. It's the Bible. It is. And in there, and I have a book of quotations. I turned today when I was going to get ready to come here and opened it up and said, be sure that folks, you know that folks don't like to hear of any praise you get. Wow, wait a minute, that wasn't about that was joyful. But anyway, what I'm saying is, I believe that the first time I heard about this and saw it in the paper, I thought of about 15 of y'all because y'all were with me. When you had to be, not always. And I thought about all the people who say, well, what do you give it to him for? You know, that all happens, especially in the world today. But the Bible doesn't really want you to get too much praise, does it? It said Jesus didn't really like praise, and he never did get it either. And although none of it now, nobody knows what he looks like, but his pictures, more pictures of him than anybody else in the world. And I'm not a preacher. I'm not preaching tonight. I don't know if I'm wrong to say something like this, but you don't have to show it, but you have to know it. It's got to be here. All you got to do is just say, yep. And thank you all so much. I vowed that I was going to do that, and pardon me if I heard it once, I didn't mean to. I just meant that I owe all the people like you all that have helped me has a stronger power than any of us, the way I see it. There are all the things that I tried not to forget today when I was trying to remember something. So what I want to say is, Sarah Jane, if it hadn't been for her, I couldn't have been about 40% of the place, 50, 60, 70, 80% of the places I had to go to be what I'm supposed to be doing to make it to my job. And Billy D. Mitchell. That's the reason he got mixed up in the paper. I don't blame the lady that did that. How in the heck did she get what she got? I thought it was really great. And anyway, he coached baseball at Culpeper. So he's Billy D and I'm Billy W, right? Billy H. And he took them further than they've ever been. Well, I can't remember all the numbers on that, but I know it was in the paper. And then there's Rob down at the end. He had a little band, he plays the guitar pretty good. When he comes home, he finds one of mine laying around, and I said, Mom, I didn't know we had a radio in there. You can strum it, you know? So, and he's married to a really wonderful girl that's a nurse. And every time we can get him, you can't ever get the doctor, but you can get him. She's helped me more than I can tell you. That's why I'm the way I am today, Boo. Watch it. Okay, and down there at the end, by golly, she was a teacher too for a while, and she went into another business, and I never pushed them in any way to go business, play ball, do anything. And what do? Ray is supposed to brag about them and stuff, right? I can't because there's no need. I've never had to. They're so